What's up, guys? It's your boy OXY. We're back with another Q&A, and now we have a new guest joining us for this episode. We have Ryan Kynard, aka Kynard Media, in the building. This is our last official collab until you're
after I leave. Yep.
Exactly.
Until I come back home.
Exactly.
From my break.
So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about some stuff going on here, and then we're also going to be talking about photography today because we are photographers. And so a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is going to be dealing with a lot of stuff that we do in that area, in that space, whether it be on the editing board or whether it be on shooting. And we also have a specific shoot that we're also going to be talking about. A specific one that we had as of recent that we wanted to just talk about, just to kind of like give you a layout on some do's and don'ts for, going into a photo shoot. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So first off, okay, because now that everybody knows that we're photographers, what other professions do you have outside of photography?
Before I started photography, my main thing was working with animals. So right now, I work as a veterinarian technician or technician's assistant in Yorba Linda. I recently left that job because I'm getting ready to fly out to Michigan State, but I'll be picking it back up again once I get out there. My dream is to be a veterinarian. That's what I'm going to school for currently.
Oh, nice. And then on my side, I am a videographer for 2 companies, as well as I am a dance instructor. So that's always a cool thing to just tag on to, helping out with the kids and whatnot. So you said that you were moving to Michigan State.
Yep.
So tell me more about that. How's that whole thing going for you?
Well, it's stressful. I just shipped my car over there yesterday, and that was a pain. But I used to live in Michigan for a brief period of time in my life. My family is from there, so for me, it's like going back home. The only thing I'm worried about is the snow, because I ain't been stuck in snow in 10 plus years, so I'm used to this California. I got this nice golden brown tan on my brown skin, so I'm afraid I might lose some of that when I'm over there. But it's been a stressful process, but it's been really fun.
Yeah, man. And also, it's like a lot of traveling is like it's pretty good for not only just for the areas and the spaces that you're going to be in, but it's also for your creative process.
Yeah.
When you are able to come back, you're like, dang, like there's so much stuff that I can pick apart from.
Right.
So yeah, man, that's dope.
So carrying on to that, since we all know, of course, I work in the animal field, so it's obvious that I got pets. But do you got any animals?
Yes. So we have family pets, and then after that I have a personal pet. So the family pets, we have 2 dogs and a cat. And then I have my purebred Siberian Husky. She is actually sleeping right in the corner over there.
There she is.
So what about...
FYI for everybody, as a veterinarian, I know I made a vow to treat all animals the same, but I don't like cats. Don't have any.
Oh, man. All right, so what about your pets?
I got 1 dog left. I had 3, but they all got old and they passed on me. But I had all Scotties and 1 mutt, so I have 1 Scottish Terrier left. She's 16. Ain't got no teeth in her mouth, just lays around, living the good life, just chilling, getting free food, free housing. That's my baby. I wish I could take her with me, but I can't. She got to stay here in California.
Nah, damn. All right, so now let's get it more into some photography basis here, okay? So for you personally, and well, both of us, we've dealt with a lot of hardships and whatnot,
Right.
but what is something that, like, as far as like, jumping into photography for some people who are newer, what are some hardships that photographers are going to have to deal with?
For me, I think the main one was the comparison, because you have all these different photographers that you follow, that you see on social media, and you're like, oh, they got like 12,000 people following them. They got all these likes, all these comments, but likes and comments don't equivalent to finances. So you could have 1 million followers but make no money. And that was my main thing. I have this side hustle, but I'm not really bringing anything in. So like, what are they doing? But they have their own style, their own market. So once you find your style, your market, and you really start pushing that, then all the extra benefits like the money start coming in. But I only have 1,100 followers, but I have a very loyal following and fan base and a loyal clientele. So I always am taken care of.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not the most popular, I have a style. People recognize my work. So I'm good where I'm at. But don't compare yourself to other artists. Just do your own thing.
Definitely. I think a huge hardship you're also gonna have to deal with is is not only just perfecting your style, but finding out a way to price that.
Oh yeah, that's a huge.
That is probably a
pricing
huge thing. A lot of times, we like to kind of just say like, you know what, we're trying to make a little extra change. So we're like, all right, we're gonna charge this much for either homemade, this, and so we definitely we start ourselves at a pretty low bar when our work speaks in high volumes.
Right.
So a lot of times, whenever you're developing your style and when you're working through things, really take into consideration how much you're actually doing for the person or for the client that you're working with, because that can help you a lot when it comes to making a lot more money than what you're trying to price them. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely a huge one. Finding out what price works best for you.
I wish I knew that before I hit my 6-year mark. Now I'm starting to now I've been broke for the last 6 years. Now I'm starting to make some money. So shoot. Speaking of our hardships, another hard thing that photographers do is the editing process.
Mm-hmm.
The editing process has been a huge challenge for everybody. So I know for you, he edits crazy. Just homie edits crazy. So what do you look for when you edit, bro?
So before I even take a final photo or take an idea that I have, it's already in the mind process at the shoot. So that's why I tell a lot of the models, look in certain directions, look in different areas, because I would like to put something in your hand or put something in your area. I don't know what it is yet, but I already have in the mindset what I want to do for it. And background ties into it. A lot of the stuff anything that goes into it, if there's a foresty background, then you're looking at all right, so what blends well with that concept and with that idea. And so it's just picking apart little bits and things and then making it as unrealistic but still maintaining that realism to it as possible. You're jumping in editing more and more as we go along too.
Yes, I am.
So how has editing been going on for you? What have you been looking for now?
FYI, I hate editing. I don't like it. It's awful. But it's fun. So my style, I focus on simplicity. So I got that inspiration from when I was in high school. Our yearbook photos, I was broken out, stitches everywhere, hair sticking up, and they made me look perfect. So my thing is, when I take pictures, I want you to look as perfect as you could possibly look, but still keep it natural. So my focus is your eyes. I want to make sure your eyes are clear. I want the colors to pop out. I want the colors behind you to pop out. I want your skin to be good. But then transitioning into the way you edit, I just kind of making it up on the fly. I don't decide my edits until I get on the editing board. And then when I try to do them, I'd be like, they come out kind of funky. So for me, it's a learning curve editing how you do. But I have a style which is very simplistic and plain, but it makes the shot look beautiful.
Yeah, man, your shots come out amazing too. So that's definitely a huge one up for that. So since we did talk a little bit on social media before on how your following is and how you have a loyal following, so I honestly want to just ask, what kind of tips would you give to somebody, especially not even just as a photographer, but somebody who's trying to have a more loyal following? So growing in social media, what direction they would like to take for that?
Growing on social media is complicated because there's all these different formulas. There's hashtags and following certain people and commenting. Look, not to say none of those things they're wrong, but everybody has a different formula. Me, I'm a big social butterfly, so I get most of my following from I go and talk to people in person.
Yeah, nice.
I dance with this guy. I be at school, so I tell people, hey, I have a photography page. Can you just take a look, and if you like it, follow it. And then when I work with these people, I create friendships when I work with people. It's not just, hey, you're gonna book me, give me my money, I'm gonna shoot, send you your pictures, and then be on the way. We laugh, we joke around on the shoot, we go and get food together. They introduce me to their friends or their significant others, their kids. I build relationships with people, and that's how you grow. Social media is being social through media. You gotta talk to people. You gotta open yourself up and expand and get to know people.
Yeah, big facts.
And then, of course, finding your style in social media. You have to have a specific style for whatever you're trying to promote on there.
Yeah, that was definitely something that I was going to add. Your style plays a huge part because not only just on the look of your social media, but also in the content. Okay, you want people to understand who you are and who you're trying to give them, because social media is just pretty much you're branding yourself.
Right.
Okay. And so no matter what, as a brand, what can you give the most for people, and then
Right.
that's what you can cater towards, because then your social media following, that's what they'll look for, that's
Right.
what they're going to find more and more of. And then whenever you post something, whenever you make a comment, whenever you do something, they're like, I know what I'm expecting, and it's gonna be great, because that's what I'm getting into, that's what I'm used to, and that style is awesome. So yeah, it's dope, like finding in your style and whatnot.
And
So,
I think the other thing to piggyback off of that to make it even more potent for you guys is you have to find value in your work. You can't just be like, I'm gonna try this and I hope it comes out okay. Every time I post something, it's because I 100% believe that this is the best work I have for this day. And when people ask me about my work, I tell them I'm good, I'm great. So you have to place value on your work before you have other people place value. You can't expect people to follow what you're doing if you don't even believe in it. So believe in it first, and then you can see the growth.
True, very true.
We did all that. Now let's have a little fun real quick before we get into our last little bit.
Yeah.
A last little bit. So a little side question for Mr. Oxygen Media, the king right here in the IE.
That's good.
You have the choice to relive your life or choose a different life. Which would you choose upon dying? After you die, you get the choice.
Okay. So after dying, which one would I choose? Either relive my life or choose a different one? To be quite honest, I would relive my life. However, I do feel like that is a lot of strain and stress at the same time, because I've dealt with a lot of stuff at an early age.
Yeah.
So, I think I think I would like to relive my life, because obviously this from the people and from the perspective of all the stuff that I've accomplished. But in the long run, I probably would like to live a different life. I don't know. I feel like there's so much that's gone in my life that I was like, fuck, like I don't like this at all. So I don't know. Maybe a different life would be a different perspective. Maybe a different toll, different vibe. I might even have a different job. I might suck with kids in a different life, man. That would suck.
That would suck.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one, definitely. What about you?
I would relive my life over. Look, it doesn't say in the question that I have to relive every single event as it has unfolded. So
you're right.
I can pick certain stuff to change. Like if I got to relive my life, I'd be done with college already. I'd be done.
No, yeah,
I'd be done. I'd be chilling. And if I would know the things that I know now, Kynard Media would have been. It would have been a wrap. It'd have been over. So I would do it again. I just pick certain things. And I probably wouldn't have shaved all my dreads off. I probably would have a full head of dreads still, and they'd be down to my back like they were back then.
Oh yeah.
Probably would have kept the hair.
Just long. All right.
Oh boy.
We're on to the
boy.
main event.
Oh
all right?
boy.
The main event. All right. So, prior to this exact video, we had a collab that we did together, where we joined a head photographer and maybe another photographer who was there on standby. But we joined a photographer on a journey to, do a shoot for this company. All right. So the company hired the photographer and maybe about maybe 8 models, maybe I want to say
maybe
around,
like 10.
like 8 to 10 models.
Right there.
So we went over to the shoot, and there was a lot of things that happened that were good, but there were also a lot of things that happened that were not so good. So we're pretty much going to be giving you guys the layout of a lot of do's and don'ts, and we might relate them to a lot of actual stuff that happened on the shoot. Okay, we're not trying to diss anybody,
but
yes,
you need to know what to look out for. Sorry.
We're trying to diss people. So
I'm cold-blooded too. I want it.
Oh man. So let's start off with the do's. All right. Let's start off with the good stuff.
Okay.
All right. So what's something that they definitely should do for a photo shoot?
Okay, I'm gonna speak on photographer's perspective at what you should do. You need to make your models feel comfortable and confident being there. Because let's not get it twisted. A lot of us aren't working with professional models on a regular basis. These are just people who are on social media, have a bunch of selfies, have a pretty good following, but they don't have that experience or training. So they're gonna be self-conscious. There's gonna be people that are going through body issues and they're like, I don't feel this. You have to make them feel like they're the most beautiful creature in the world, because if you don't, they're not gonna want to shoot, and even if they do, they're not gonna give you what you need out of the shot. It's a big one for me.
Said you're beautiful. That's what it is.
Gotta make them beautiful. Make them feel beautiful.
All right, so let's go on to the model side of things. Always come prepared, 100%.
Yes.
Okay, like if you have makeup, if you got stuff that's going on, like always make it to where it's easily accessible, easily able to be done. Because the last thing that we need as photographers is to sit at a shoot for about an hour to an hour and a half prior to actually getting any shooting done, because you weren't completely prepared or woke up early enough to make sure everything was all ready and set. So that's definitely a good thing to make sure that you stay on top of is, well, you need to be prepared. You got to know what you're going into.
Yep. If you book a shoot, if you book one, and this goes for the person that the client or the photographer or the models, whatever you want to call it, everybody needs to show up on time, because you only pay for a certain amount of time, and the time starts once you start on the designated. So if you book me for 7:30, your time starts at 7:30. If you don't show up till 7:45, you just lost 15 minutes. So be on time. Everybody be on time.
And then this is one more last one on the do's. For sure, I would say to make sure that you're well fed. Well,
Yes.
like a lot of times we've had models that came in and were just like, yo, hungry as hell the entire shoot.
I'm finna pass out.
I'm finna pass. Like you got to make sure that you have food, water, and everything, because you never know how long the shoot is going to be.
Yeah.
Especially if you book something for like a few hours or so. Like it's one thing if you're like, oh yeah, like I need to make sure that I maintain the figure. Like no, like you got to make sure that you have something, because if you're sitting over there about to pass out while we're shooting you, it definitely isn't going to look good on either of us if you actually do. So make sure to maintain like really good hygiene, really good health, but yes, make sure you're well fed. Make sure you're like on top of that. Like that's a huge thing for us.
Bring a granola bar, something.
Right, yeah, bring something that you can munch on to where at least you can hold by your stomach and bodily worries. And let's get into some don'ts.
Yes.
This is the tea here. Let's get into some don'ts.
Don'ts.
All right, so working with multiple photographers, working with a lot of people, you have to understand, do not take away from another photographer's vision.
Right.
Okay? Every photographer is different. They have their own style. They have their own way of shooting. They also have their own way of looking at something. Okay? So don't steal their shine or their light, or especially even worse, steal their visual on something, because it is going to take away from your work with them. It's going to take away from their process, and it's better to be able to bounce off of each other than to always collide. So definitely don't mess up somebody else's vision.
Right. I think for me, a big don't when you're working with models, what you don't want to do, and I see a lot of beginning photographers do this, especially if you're a guy, you can't sit there and flirt with your model.
Oh man,
while you're shooting.
We're
not there to try to. This ain't a Hinge booking or a Tinder booking. It's work. So you're there to work. You're not there to score a phone number and ask her out to dinner.
Bruh.
You ain't trying to do all that. You are there for art. So if you're a beginning photographer and you a guy especially, don't make your model uncomfortable by trying to press a move on her, because that's all you're gonna lose a client.
Yeah, most
You're
definitely. You're definitely gonna lose on that person more than anything.
And then she gonna tell all her friends, all her other modeling friends, like, yo, don't work with this guy because he just trying to get with me.
That's everything that goes off.
Just leave it be. Just leave it be.
Like, understand, word of mouth is extremely important.
Big
okay,
thing.
Especially as a photographer, like when you're shooting with people, that's dope. And people are like, oh yeah, we're shooting. But it's a whole nother thing if people have a lot of bad things to say about your work or even working with you. Okay, so definitely keep your professional mode intact always when you're on a shoot. Okay, because you are getting paid for it. Because the end goal isn't about what you guys are going to be doing. It's the end goal is about how the photos are going to come out and how the project is going to be relayed. And if your model is uncomfortable, your project is not going to look good no matter what. I promise you.
If your model is uncomfortable, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. You got to make your model comfortable. I'm sorry.
Do not set up a shoot that you cannot commit every ounce of your energy to.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So we had times we had like obviously like the owner of the company and whatnot. Like we had some stuff going on to where she showed up really late. She was like doing a lot of stuff left and right. She was trying to do extra photos and BTS all over the place. So she's jumping all around and about.
Right.
And so it's a lot harder for her to maintain a single job for us to feel comfortable as the photographers because her energy is everywhere else.
Right.
All right. So like if you need extra shots, especially as somebody who's like there like saying, oh, maybe behind the scenes or maybe this, like ask your photographers, ask the people who you hired, because they'll make sure that it comes out looking the way that you want it to. Because we've seen some photos of some BTS stuff we were not excited to see.
Wasn't particularly happy about some of those shots.
Yeah, so little stuff like that. You got to make sure that you're on top of it. Like you hired people for the job, so you need to make sure that your energy goes into making sure that you get what you paid for.
If you're a client and you're booking a big project like the one that we did, okay, and you have contracts, everything people sign, don't try to change the terms of agreements in the middle of the shoot, or even change them afterwards. Whatever agreement that you and your photographer, models, or photographers settle on, that needs to be just hit the hammer on the nail. Like that's it.
Absolutely.
There should be no changes unless somebody's not doing their job on the shoot. But you should not be trying to change up the terms of an agreement during the shoot or even after. Once the shoot is over, once you book the shoot, whatever terms you agree on the time of the booking, that's it.
Yep. And
definitely don't try to change it the day of, because then it just creates confusion and you could possibly lose work. You could probably lose people, you know. And we, unfortunately, we've had this issue with many clients where they try to change the terms of the agreement in the middle of the shoot. You can't do that, because then I don't want to work with you again.
Yep. That's losing out on a photographer.
You know, and there's not a lot of us.
There is not.
There's a lot of photographers. There's not a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good ones. So you don't want to burn bridges. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big don't change the terms at the last. Don't change the terms, period.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get what you started with, okay?
Yeah.
You signed up for it. Don't try to do all that extra bullshit. You feel me?
How you doing?
So, thank you guys for watching this video and tuning in to the Q&A. You guys did awesome. I definitely hope that you guys learned a lot about not only just photographers, but just learned a lot about us in general. So, real quick, where can these people find you? What's your IG? What's your stuff? What you got?
IG, okay, y'all, check this out. If you guys want to take a look at my personal life, which some people do because I dance and blah, blah, blah. Personal account, Christ Soldier. It'll be on the video, comments. But if you want to take a look at my work and what I'm about with my photography, you can find that on Kynard Media, my last name, Kynard Media. And then you can also find behind the scenes of my creative process on TikTok, also Kynard Media.
Super solid. So, super dope talking with you. I know you got stuff going on. You're going to be leaving over to Michigan State. So, I'll definitely be seeing you soon. And I will be seeing you guys on the next video. All right? Peace.
Make sure y'all subscribe.
Yep.